Hey girls, welcome back to part 5 of What If Naruto is Raised by Kuruma. Yeah, I know I was meant to make the other episode, but I decided to hold off on that quick for a bit, as I'm going to make it with a friend, as there's going to be a lot of voices going on. A lot of other he's going to do a voice for me. Anyway, yeah, so let's put us to tuning exams. And last episode we had Naruto being trained by Kuruma, which he learnt all the Sage Mode and that and got his tails. Yeah. So, now as part of the tuning exams. After a mission, Kakashi tells Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke that he signed them up for tuning exams, and he looks at Naruto and winks. After this, Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura say, what's the tuning exams? Which then Kurama says in his head, it's a test that lets you go from beginning to tuning, and sometimes even straight to jonin if you're good enough. This excites Naruto as he says, I'm going to become the world's youngest jonin. Okay, so I'm going to time skip to just before they start the tuning exams, like a week. And this is where Naruto is walking past and he sees a perverted man staring into the girl's bathroom. And then Kuruma says, wait a minute, is that... And then he says, kid, that's the legendary Sanin Jiraiya. He goes up to the man and says, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? And Jiraiya looks at him, and Naruto, being able to sense emotions, senses Jiraiya's feelings just suddenly start spinning around. As Jiraiya knows who he is, as he's his godfather. Even though Kurama is his godfather at the same time, so is Jiraiya. And Jiraiya knows about Kurama being his godfather, as he got told about it. But he's the only one he knows, except for the fourth Hokage, which he got a message from just before he died. He says, wait a minute, and the tears starts coming out of his eye, but he stops it just in time. He says, what do you want, kid? I'm busy, can't you see? I'm doing some research on my new book. Naruto laughs at this as he's got a weird sense of humour now after growing up with the Nine Tails, or Kurama. This shocks Jiraiya, and he decides, hey kid, I need to talk to you about something. As Jiraiya isn't trying to be stingy. He knows that Naruto is probably a lot stronger now and needs to start his training as soon as possible to control the Nine Tails, which Jiraiya doesn't actually know Naruto has complete control of, as he's his friend. Yes, so he meets him and he says, kid, there's a beast inside you called the Nine Tails. And Naruto says, I know, don't you dare call him a beast. He's my friend, his name's Kurama. This shook Jiraiya and he says, you already control the Nine Tails. He says, I don't control him, he's my friend, and he does a summoning jutsu and summons the Nine Tails. Yeah, and Jiraiya is shocked by this and he decides to fight before Kurama starts speaking. Hey Jiraiya, remember I'm his godfather too, I need to look out for him. And Jiraiya gets out of his fighting stance and says, well, looks like we better both start training him. And Kurama says, no need, I've trained him enough already. He could kill you if he really wanted to. Jiraiya says, no way. And Kurama says, watch your land. He says, have a spar match. So they have a sparring match, and then they start fighting. So it's just plain taijutsu at first until Naruto summons a sword. And since he does what Sasuke does, he put buttons in his sword for summoning on it. So one side summons a sword, a knife, and a kunai. The other one summons a giant shuriken, a normal shuriken, normal size shuriken, and then it has Minato style kunai. I just got distracted. And then Jiraiya is shocked by this thinking he already knows such, not summoning, I mean sealing. I don't know why I'm saying summoning. He already knows sealing jutsu stuff like that. And as Jiraiya starts to get serious, he starts fighting. So as they start fighting, Naruto decides he's not going to go serious and creates 2,000 shadow clones using it's only a little bit of Kurama's chakra. Since he has full Kurama, not only half of him. Since Kurama's trying to help him, so he isn't trying to break out all the time. This shocks Jiraiya, and he's thinking he can really make 1,000 clones without getting drained, and this is where Jiraiya starts taking it seriously. He reacts to a Sengun and charges at Naruto, which Naruto returns with a slightly bigger Red Rasengan, as he's added fire style to it. This shocks Jiraiya and he jumps away, which Naruto then hits a tree, causing a huge explosion. Jiraiya's shocked by this known, saying he knows the Rasengan already. Says, okay, this is enough playing, and he goes into Sage mode for a for a small amount of time, which Naruto responsive. Oh, so you have the Toad Sage mode, huh? And he starts dodging it like it's no problem until Jiraiya uses natural techniques and starts splits Naruto. This is when Naruto goes into the Nine-Tailed Fox Sage mode, which we learnt last episode, learnt last episode. And this shocks and shakes Jiraiya to his core, feeling an overwhelming chakra. He says, "Wait a minute! Didn't even know that Sage mode existed." He says, "It doesn't. I'm the only one who can use it. Me and Kuruma made it a few weeks ago." This shocks Jiraiya and he says, "Wait a minute, you made your own Sage mode?" Which Naruto responds to laughing, saying, "Yeah." Jiraiya thinking like this, just happy thinking his godsons could become quite powerful. Then after using this, Naruto edits their terrain as this has the Toad ability and their Dragon Sage mode ability, which Orochimaru uses in Kabuto. So he edits the terrain, which shocks him and says, "Oh, so this is the ability, it's the same as Dragon." Until he goes to attack Naruto, which Naruto dodges and swings, but Jiraiya dodges as well. But then he gets hit by the nature energy. He gets hit by the nature energy that Naruto uses against Pain on that. And he's like, wait, so you have both the abilities? And then this is where a clone that Naruto didn't sense, as Jiraiya put such a little amount of chakra in it, jumps at Naruto with a kunai, and that's when Naruto decides to use one of his tails, and he blocks it and then obliterates the shadow clone. This shocks Jiraiya and he says, "Wait a minute, what are those?" He said, "These are my tails that I get while using the Sage mode." And then Jiraiya says, "They don't look that powerful, are they?" And he said, "Yeah, they're pure chakra," and he slices a mountain which explodes and then gets split in half. Jiraiya is about to give up, which Naruto says, "Don't you dare." And looking at Jiraiya does a weird type of jutsu he's never seen before. Can't remember what I'm going to call this. It's like a new jutsu. What was it called again? Oh yeah, he molds his chakra so he makes a Rasengan, he molds it into a weapon. And now to using the ability of with one of the abilities that he gets with the what was it? They gets with using the 9 tails. He copies it completely, and he does the same thing, but this time he creates it not using a Rasengan, but using lightning. This shocks Jiraiya as he says, "Wait a minute, what nature styles do you have?" Which Naruto replies, "I have all 5. And then instead of using the actual blue lightning, he uses the one she created last time. He creates red lightning, which is the most powerful lightning you can use. And this shocks Jiraiya, and they start swinging, and Naruto cuts Jiraiya's sword in half, which Jiraiya just regoes. He says, "Okay, lightning style's a bit unfair for this." And he creates the same Rasengan sword as Jiraiya, but without realising he's used the nature energy, which he created a sword so huge and so concentrated that Jiraiya dropped his knees just by the sheer pressure. And Jiraiya says that's enough, and they stop. Jiraiya goes to speak to the 9 tails, says, "How did you train him to be so strong in such a short amount of time?" And Naruto replies, "I guess the kid's just special." And you start laughing, saying, "You had no chance, look at your back." As he sees the flying Rajan, the flying Thunder God seal, he says, "The kid even knows that. How?" He says he copied the Forbidden Scroll seal and learned nearly all the jutsus in it. Yeah. And this shocks Jiraiya and he says, "Wow, that kid's really strong." And Kurama laughs, saying, "Yeah, I know." Okay, so after this, now Jiraiya decides to teach Naruto some other things, like how to mess around with his seal. And then Jiraiya at first tightens it, which causes Kurama to get unsummoned. And Naruto punches Jiraiya in the face trying to stop him. and Jiraiya goes flying as Naruto still forgot to go out of his Fox Sage mode. And then he apologizes and says, "Don't tighten my seal, it's the only link I have with him, with Kurama." And Jiraiya apologizes and loosens it. And then Naruto asks how to do that. As one Minato was seeing him, I don't know if I mentioned it, he did a part of the seal where it was messing with Naruto's chakras. Well, not as much as in the original show. It just made it harder for Naruto to use certain jutsus. And Jiraiya does that and teaches Naruto the ability just by showing it to him, as Naruto uses the Fox Sage mode ability. And he learns it immediately. This shocks Jiraiya. It's like, how do you do that? And he explains the abilities of his Fox Sage mode, it's set for the part of stopping and slowing down time. Anyway, yeah, I keep getting distracted. Yeah. So after this, we're gonna time skip to the tuning exams, where right now they're doing the written test. Oh yeah, also on the last episode, the poll was who Naruto ends up with, and it ended up to be that Naruto is gonna end up with Hinata. I thought I should just tell you. Yeah, so we go to the tuning exams. Oh yeah, we go into the tuning exams, and he start the written test. And Naruto, using Fox Sage mode, looks around, and he literally stops time, walks around, but instead of using his chakra, he uses a nature chakra, so he can stop time as long as he wants. So he looks around and looks at all the other people's tests papers and writes down all the answers. And then he writes them down on Sasuke and Sakura's paper too. Yeah, but this time we're going to stick the Genjutsu test as dry, so there's no point of it as Naruto just to spell it easily. Which means that there's no, fight against... Oh my god, that stinks. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was just talking about something else then. Someone else is in my room, just so you know who I'm talking to. Yeah, there's no point as Naruto just to spell it or the Kurama word. So there's no test about that, which means no Sasuke versus Rock Lee confrontation. Yet. Yeah, so after he stops time, he hands in his paper. And then he's asking Sakura to look at their paper and realising that Naruto's wrote down all the answers for them. They wonder, how did he do that? As they don't know about the Sage Mode yet. Because Naruto deactivated it as soon as he let time play again, go back to normal. They hand their papers in too. So this time, not only did Naruto get the highest score of record, he broke Minato's or Itachi's record. He also broke the record for the fastest completion. Yeah, so now we're gonna move on to the jungle episode where they meet Orochimaru. Yeah, so just when they start, he passes a kunai with the Flying Thunder God Seal, which Naruto's learnt to do now, as he was reading through the book and realised that the fourth Hokage's dad chucked it on his Tapu Kunai. That's when Naruto decided to use his dad's Tapu Kunai as well. He summons one using his wristbands and hands it to Sasuke, who's activated his Sharingan, which is now 3 Tomoe, in both eyes this time, as he's been training with Kakashi a lot more than the usual, as he's a lot stronger. As he's had a lot of motivation to catch up with Naruto in this timeline, as Naruto is clearly stronger than him. But this doesn't upset him as much, as he always thought he was stronger than Naruto, which he knows he wasn't at the start. So this doesn't upset him. He just gives him a goal to reach. So he gives it to Sasuke with the Flying Raja and he throws it into the pass room. So when they get their scrolls, they can just teleport to it. Okay, so they all jump off into the forest, and they're all fighting, and Naruto sent a bunch of clones around and just following people who they think is a bad problem. But all of a sudden, one of Naruto's clones got picked up by Gaara's sand, and it's about to kill him, but he decides he ain't gonna let anyone think he's weak. And at the thing, KCM's for a split second, he explodes out of the sun, which shocks Gaara, and then he unsummons the clone, which annoys Gaara like a lot more than it did on the show. She's thinking, a mere shadow clone broke out of Maya's hand. Yeah. So after this, Naruto gets the scroll and he's running back after going to the toilet, which he got attacked after going to pee, which he then got attacked by the Orochimaru's like minions and that, which he easily destroys as he's fenced them way before time. And he goes back to Sasuke and Sakura, which causes Orochimaru to attack a lot earlier, as he just expected his like minions to take care of Naruto. So he attacks by launching his neck out, which Naruto sensed him, and he sensed his malicious chakra, so he decided not to get involved, as it was the same as Gaara's, so he just didn't want to get involved with it, as it endangered Sasuke and Sakura. Keep in mind, Sasuke's a lot stronger now, but Naruto didn't really know this. So he just thought he was a lot weaker than him. So yeah, Orochimaru attacks, and Naruto, sensing the malicious chakra, tells him to run. But Sasuke says no, and Sakura, just following Sasuke, says, yeah, I'm not running at all. So while they're fighting, Orochimaru tries putting him under a genjutsu, using his like bloodlust and that, but Naruto, using Kuroma's bloodlust, clearly powers it, freezing Orochimaru, which he's shocked, like, how does a kid have that much bloodlust? And he realises, looking at Naruto still, wait a minute, he's the Naruto Jinchuriki. So Orochimaru starts laughing, and then he looks at Sasuke, knowing that he's fully evolved the Sharingan, which gets him really excited. And he attempts to give Sasuke the curse mark a lot quicker than in the original, which Naruto replies to by cutting off Orochimaru's head at the speed, like, extremely fast. As he used Naruto's cloak, KCM2, which Naruto and Sasuke are shocked by this, as they see a glow on Naruto, and he turns it off and he explains to Sasuke. He'll explain it later, but he tells Sakura to never asked about it until Naruto agrees to tell her. And yeah, so they think it's over until Orochimaru's body starts moving, and then out pops the real Orochimaru's body as he pulls away with the skin. And Naruto, after training with Jiraiya and Kurama, knows who this is, and he tells them to run now, as it's one of the legendary Sannin. Yeah, and anyway, after doing this, Sasuke decides not to run, but Sakura attempts to, which Naruto agrees to, and he gives Sakura the scrolls and sends a clone with her, which teleports her to the finishing room. Yeah, and it teleports her to the finish room, where she just starts crying and opens the scroll, which Ruka Sensei comes out and sees that Naruto and Sasuke aren't there. And he's about to congratulate her until he explains what actually happened, until Sakura explains what happens, and all of a sudden there's like Jonin and Ambu flying out of the building. But we're going back to Orochimaru and Sasuke and Naruto. Naruto decided to set this fight for a bit, as he decided there's no point of fighting. He wants to see what Sasuke can do for the first time. And as they're fighting, Sasuke's actually doing okay against Orochimaru, who really isn't trying. He's not trying to hurt his next body, his next vessel, until he has enough of it and goes to give Sasuke the curse of it so he can get out, which Naruto senses and jumps in the way. And at this moment, Orochimaru is like, this could work, and he gives Naruto the curse seal. Okay, Naruto's blacked out for a second, not as long as Sasuke was, but we go back to Naruto's mind where Orochimaru is walking around, and he comes across an open cage with Nine Tails, and he's like, the Nine Tails isn't sealed. And then he yells, get out my gun. He gets like, get out my... Yeah, I'm back quick. So, yeah. So he's really impressed on the size Naruto needs to be a Jonin, as he beat a legendary Sannin. And he's already decided this, but he decides not to tell anyone. And Orochimaru gets took to an interrogation area. And then he takes Sasuke's hand and teleports back, as he managed to get the scroll of Orochimaru that they needed. As he tries guys who was blitzing him. And they appear in the room next to Sakura, which Sakura starts crying. But he just says how they beat him and that. And Sakura, not knowing how OP Naruto is just yet, she starts cheering on Sasuke, which Sasuke says, "It was like me. Naruto's the one who blitzed him." And Sakura drops for this, and so does Iruka senseis. As he didn't know, he decided to stay with Sakura, and she was crying. And by doing this, he became very respected. And now we're going to move on to the next part, which is the fighting, which I'm going to skip quite a bit of it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that for the next episode. As this episode's just gone past 21 minutes, I think. So yeah, the next like goal for the next video is 30 likes. And yeah, we're at 130 subscribers, which I'm super happy about. And that special 100 series that's coming. Yeah, it's going to come, but my phone's going to help me out with it. Yeah, and he has like 200 subscribers, so it's a big help for me, at least. And I'll tell you who he is when we make the video. Yeah. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did. And yeah, I bet you all can't wait for the next one, I hope at least. Yeah, so hope you enjoy. And see you soon.